For the next several problems, we will be allowed to use a graphing calculator. So I will show you how to use the graphing calculator to perform some matrix operations and solve matrix equations. So for number 7, we're simply supposed to find the determinant of matrix A. That's what these symbols mean. See the vertical lines that look like absolute value? In the context of matrices, that means the determinant. And then we'll also, we will find the inverse. So let's start by finding the determinant of matrix A, which is also given by this. All right, these two things mean the same thing. Well, whatever we do, we're going to have to type matrix A into the calculator. So this is a 3 by 3 matrix. So if I go second matrix, all right, it takes me to the matrix area. I will arrow over to the edit menu, and I'll just hit enter, and now I'm editing matrix A. Oh, look, it's already a 3 by 3 matrix. So the first row is 1, -2, 3. So let me just enter a few times. So I have 1, -2, 3. Next I have 5, 0, 6. 5, 0, 6. 2, -1, 7. 2, -1, 7. You should always quit your way out of a matrix, so I will hit second mode. See how it says quit over that? So if I want the determinant, I'm going to go back to the matrix area by hitting second matrix. This time if I go to the math menu, the very first option is determinant. So if I just hit enter, so it's ready to calculate the determinant. So if I go back to the matrix area again, I'm just going to hit enter because matrix A is already highlighted. So this is the determinant of matrix A, and boom, 37. So the determinant of matrix A is 37. Okay, now next we need to calculate A inverse, which is what this means. So to find that, if I go back to the matrix area, and I'll just hit enter to produce matrix A, and then I'll just hit the x to the -1 power button, and now this is A inverse. All right, this should be a matrix, not just a number. So I hit enter. Okay, get all these ugly decimals. These decimals will not be accepted on the test. I need fractions, so what do? Well, 3 words, math, enter, enter. I hit math, and I'm going to hit enter twice. I'm going to hit enter. See how it says fraction? Enter, and I hit enter one more time. So math, enter, enter, and it turns it all into fractions. And there you go. I cheated and just clipped the screen and pasted it here so I didn't have to redraw everything. Anyway, it's time for problem number 8. So write a matrix equation for each of the following systems of equations, and then we'll use inverse matrices to solve. So, you know what, let me zoom in. The first thing I need to do is rewrite the system in standard form, which in this case just means I need to add 10y to both sides. So that's going to give me 7x plus 10y is equal to 15. The bottom equation is already in standard form. I'm just going to recopy it. 3x minus 8y is equal to 31. Now I can rewrite this as a matrix equation by writing 7, 10, 3, -8. All right, I'm making a matrix out of the coefficients of the left side. And then if I multiply that times the variable matrix, xy, then that should equal the answer matrix, 15, 31. Okay, now I'm going to label this. This first matrix, I will call it A. The variable matrix will be X, and the answer matrix will be B. So what I know is AX equals B. All right, that's what I am showing here. But that means that X will equal A inverse times B. Okay, so what I should do is type matrix A and matrix B into my calculator so I can do this. So here I go. So let me clear this out. So back to the matrix area. I'm going to switch to the edit menu and I'll edit matrix A. Matrix A is a 2 by 2 matrix. And the first row is 7, 10. So I'll hit 7, enter. Excuse me, 10. Oh, not 110. Enter. And then 3, negative 8. So I have 3, negative 8. So there's matrix A, and I'll quit my way out of that. Back to the matrix area, and I will switch over to edit. This time I will go to matrix B. Matrix B is a 2 by 1 matrix, so 2 by 1, 2 rows, 1 column. And it is 15, 31. So 15, enter, 31, enter. Okay, I'm going to quit my way out. Second mode makes me quit. So I'm supposed to be calculating A inverse times B. So that's what I'm going to do now. So back to the matrix area, I'll choose matrix A. Now it's A inverse. Back to the matrix area. This time I'll choose matrix B, which is number 2. So that's A inverse times B. Boom. So that's it. 5, negative 2. So this is equal to the matrix 5, negative 2. And since my variable matrix was X, Y, that means that X is 5 and Y is negative 2. So that's the final answer. All right, now let's go back and do that again for problem B. Okay, I got to make sure these are all in standard form. Not quite. All right, I think I'll switch colors this time. The first equation is in standard form, so I'm going to leave this as X minus Y plus Z is equal to 5. The second equation is also in standard form. There's no X term, but that's okay. I can just go ahead and put 2Y plus 3Z is equal to 14. This next one is missing an X term, and these are backwards. So I'm just going to switch these around when I recopy it. So I'm going to have negative 3Y plus 2Z is equal to 5. Okay, now I am ready to write my matrix equation. Okay, so my coefficients are 1, negative 1, 1. And then I have a 0, there's no X term, so 0, 2, 3, and 0, negative 3, 2. Okay, if I multiply that times my variable matrix, which will be X, Y, Z, that should equal the answer matrix 5, 14, 5. We will call this matrix A, and we'll call this matrix X, and we will call this matrix B. So what we have here is that matrix A times matrix X equals matrix B. But that means that X is equal to A inverse times B. And that's what we're going to solve. Now, once again, I need to edit and enter those two matrices, A and B. Let's start with matrix A. Now matrix A is a 3 by 3 matrix. First row, 1, negative 1, 1. 1, negative 1, 1. 0, 2, 3. 0, 2, 3. 0, negative 3, 2. 0, negative 3, 2. Now quit your way out. Second mode makes you quit. So now I need to go back to the matrix area, go to edit, and this time we're editing matrix B, so I'll hit the number 2. Matrix B is a 3 by 1 matrix, so 3 by 1, and the numbers are 5, 14, 5. So 5, 14, 5. Quit your way out. So I need A inverse times B. So that means I need to start with A. So go to the matrix area, just hit enter, make it inverse by hitting this. Go back to the matrix area. I'm going to hit the number 2 for B. So there it is, A inverse B. Boom. 2, 1, 4. Okay, so that means that X is 2 and Y is 1 and Z is 4. Okay, so that was the answer for part B. By the way, this is the amount of work that needs to be shown for this problem. Even though I'm using a calculator, I can't just go straight from here and go straight to a calculator and then just have the answer. This work does need to be shown. Okay, let's move on to part C. Okay, standard form, almost standard form. So the only thing that I need to turn this into standard form is this 8 needs to be added. Hopefully you can see that if I add 8 to both sides, I'm just going to have 4y minus 2z equals 8. So I think I'm just going to cheat a tiny bit and turn this minus sign into an equal sign. Okay. And then I will just erase the equal 0 with my little whiteout. Okay, now all of the equations are in standard form. So these equations are already written in standard form. So I can go ahead and write this as a matrix equation. So looking at those coefficients, I have 1, 1, negative 5. There's no x term, so I'm going to have 0. I'm going to have 0, 1, negative 2. And I'm going to have 0, 4, negative 2. So that's my first matrix. And then the variable matrix, of course, is simply x, y, and z. That's the variable matrix. And that will equal the solution matrix, which is negative 5, 14, and 8. So I'm going to label these matrix A, matrix X, and matrix B. So that means I have the following situation. AX equals B. That tells me that X is going to equal A inverse times B. So I can go ahead and enter these matrices into the calculator. So I'm going to go to the matrix area. I'm going to go edit. I'm editing matrix A. This is a 3 by 3 matrix, so that's great. And I'm just going to type this in, like 1, 1, -5. Etc. I'll type in the rest of it off camera. Always quit your way out of a matrix, so I'm going to hit second mode to quit. I need to type in matrix B as well. So back to the matrix area, over to the edit area. I'll hit 2 for matrix B, which is a 3 by 1 matrix. -5, 14, 8. So -5, 14, 8. Quit your way out. And like we wrote down on the paper, x is equal to A inverse B. You must write that down for full credit. All of this little stuff I wrote down has to be on your paper. So that's what I'm going to do. So A inverse. So I go back to the matrix area. I can just hit enter. There's A. Put a little -1 on it. Now it's A inverse. So for B, I go back to the matrix area. I'll type the number 2 for B. Kabam! There you go. So these are the answers. All right, I hope these weren't supposed to be whole numbers, because that would mean I did something wrong. All right, I had typed in the bottom row of matrix A wrong. So I think I've fixed that now, so let's see how it goes. All right, are these the answers that you guys were getting? Yeah. Okay, so there we go. -43, -2, -8. So that means, of course, that x is equal to -43, y is equal to -2, and z is equal to -8. All right, look at all this work that I showed you guys. All of this has to be present for full credit. All right, let's move on to number 9. All right, problem number 9 is a very curious problem. Looks a little bit strange and different. There's a little hint there. To get rid of x, what should we do? And to get rid of y, what should we do? So let's look at this real big for a second. We have a matrix for x, a, y. We have this matrix. But look, what we want in the end is only a. That means somehow we need to get rid of x and we need to get rid of y. Does anyone know what I would multiply x by to sort of cancel it out in a way? The inverse. If I multiplied on the left by x inverse, then those would cancel each other out. I mean, when I say cancel each other out, technically I mean that would make the identity matrix. So far that would give me the identity matrix, and then I'd have matrix A. What would I have to do to make the y go away? I would have to do the inverse of that too. So if I multiplied by the inverse of, whoops, why did I put the -1 right there? Hold on. It's not what I meant. If I multiplied by the inverse of y on the right-hand side, then together these would make the identity matrix. All right, and multiplying by the identity matrix doesn't change anything. So if I did all this multiplication, I don't have to do it. I already know that this would just give me A. All right, multiplying by the identity matrix is analogous to multiplying by 1. So I would just get A. So that's what I need to do. I need to do x inverse times xay times y inverse. So it sounds like I need to type all of these things in my calculator. Now here's the thing though, crazy kids. I don't have x's. I don't have x and y on my calculator, and I definitely don't have a matrix called XAY. So I'm going to have to make up my own stuff. Okay, so there's already an A, so I'll carefully avoid using A as like a matrix. But say if I call this matrix B, and if I call this matrix C, all right, and maybe I'll call this matrix D. Using that sort of substitution, I will type all of these into my calculator that way. So that's what I'm going to do. So second matrix, I said matrix, edit. Okay, so right now I'm going to type in matrix B. So I'll hit the number 2. And this is a 2 by 2 matrix. So 2 by 2. Oop, I missed. All right. Okay, so 3, negative 3. So I have 3, negative 3. 1, 4. 1, 4. Okay. So I typed that in. I'm going to quit my way out. Back to the matrix area. All right. So now I'm going to edit matrix C. Matrix C is another 2 by 2 matrix. So 2, enter, 2, enter. So this is 2, 1. 3, negative 1. 3, negative 1. And I'm going to quit my way out of that. All right, now I'm going to type in matrix D. So that's negative 100. Well, I got to get there first. So second matrix, whoops. Second matrix, edit, editing matrix D. So number 4. Matrix D is another 2 by 2 matrix. So 2, enter, 2, enter. So this is negative 114. 48. 117, negative 19. I'm going to quit my way out. Okay, so I decided that what I wanted to do was x inverse times XAY times y inverse. But I made some substitutions because my calculator doesn't have x's and y's. So instead of x inverse, as far as my calculator goes, it looks like I'm using matrix B. So that means I need to do B inverse instead. Instead of XAY, that's matrix D. So when I get to that part, I'll just put matrix D. And then instead of y inverse, I typed that into matrix C. So that means I need to do C inverse. So this is what I'll put in my calculator. That should have the result of delivering matrix A for me. Okay, so I need B inverse. So I can just go second matrix, and I need B. I want B inverse. I'll pull negative 1 on it. Next I want matrix D. So I'll go second matrix, and there's matrix D. And next I want C inverse. So I'll go second matrix and number 3. So now I've got C inverse. So kabam! So this should be the final answer. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. Go ahead and click here in the red apple to watch the next video. Click in the green apple to subscribe, or click the yellow apple for the full playlist.